So getting back to this fake image, who is this man, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman, who posted the doctored image, which has plunged our diplomatic relations to a 50-year low? His name is Zhao Lijian, and in today's Australian newspaper, Rowan Callick, twice a China correspondent for The Australian, unveiled the man known as the Supreme Wolf. Rowan Callick joins me right now. Rowan, thank you very much for your time.
No worries. Good evening, Chris and viewers.
Tell me a little bit about the whole Chinese wolf mentality and, of course, this individual, the Supreme Wolf.
Well, the wolfman mentality started with a movie called Wolf Warrior 2, which remains the biggest blockbuster that China has known. And the film had as its slogan a Han saying that it adapted that said, I want to get this right, whoever offends China will be punished, no matter how far they are. And then when the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi said in October last year, on the 70th anniversary of the Foreign Ministry, he told 1,000 diplomats gathered, I want you to be imbued with a fighting spirit. And unusual language for diplomats. And this guy, Zhao Lijian, has risen to the top of those ranks. Mm-hmm. He'd already become famous in China by attacking Susan Rice. He boxed above his weight, and she'd answered him in an exchange of tweets. Now, Twitter, of course, is banned in China, but he'd used that as a platform to lure in people to debate in the West. And so he engaged in insulting conversation on Twitter with Susan Rice. And when he came back to China from his posting, sort of middle-ranking post in Pakistan, he was vaulted to be Deputy Director of the Information Department of the Foreign Ministry. And then very soon he tweeted that when Beijing got into trouble in the early days of the coronavirus, he tweeted that the coronavirus was brought to Wuhan by American soldiers participating in the military games in 2019. And his career has soared since. He's a hero.
I bet it has. He's become almost the international chief head kicker, which is certainly what he's trying to do to Australia. I don't get this, Rowan. You explain it to me. We were told that we were merely the chewing gum under the boot of the Chinese government and the Chinese nation. So why do they care so much about our trade, about what we say, about who we are?
I think there's a couple of things here. One is that China, the regime generally, is needing a new source of legitimacy. It doesn't seek it from people's votes, of course, famously. 71 years in power, no elections. So it sought legitimacy through allowing people to become prosperous. The party claims it made China prosperous. My view is more that it got out of the way and allowed Chinese people to work hard and become prosperous. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they've done that, and the economy now is heading to flatline. I wrote a long piece in The Australian last weekend about how I said there may be trouble ahead for the economy, and they're seeking a new source of legitimacy, and that is China's international influence. So it's pretty important that they're able to make their writ run internationally. Frances Adamson, our head of DFAT, Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, said last week, she said China wants to set the terms of its engagement with the world. And so and Australia is a country they've set upon as a country that should be easily persuaded, because we're very economically vulnerable, we're very economically engaged. They've been bitterly disappointed that their economic measures to date haven't worked. and then they've escalated now into this war of words. They gave us the list of 14 bads, things that we haven't done that we must do. They'd hoped that their influencers inside Australia will be able to turn us back, and that Canberra would become more amenable, would become more of a tribute state, which is the kind of model that was set in the old Qing dynasty of how countries should relate to a powerful China.
But more than that, it's only taken the space of 24 hours. New Zealand's come to support us. The British Parliament has come to support us. CNN is still bashing the Chinese government over their handling of the pandemic. And even the National Security Council is writing tweets about our wine. I'm not suggesting that we're going to go to war here, but seriously, are they doing themselves any good on the national stage, really? Zhao
Lijian will be taking these as badges of success.
Right.
You know, these are, you know, he's being attacked by all sorts of people in the capitalist world, as they see it, and he's taking a hit for China. And I think what we've seen is people pile on. Hua Chunying, who's the more senior spokesperson, she came out in his support. We saw Hu Xijin, the editor of Global Times, which is a party-owned paper, not the most influential.
So they're lapping up the fact that they've got more enemies than they can count at the moment.
Yeah, the success for them is their KPIs are counted in how the cadres around Xi Jinping view them.
Wow.
And this fighting spirit is what they want. Okay. And that's the number one. So whatever we say in the rest of the world, not so important. But of course, China has many people who think otherwise, that this is leading them in a cul-de-sac. It's going nowhere. It's causing harm. And it is causing harm to China.
Rowan Callick, thank you very much for that insight. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.